Separated from the boys, Kay's primary school experience was spent being predominantly surrounded by both female students and teachers. Her uniform throughout primary school was quite limited, merely consisting of a single dress that was made up of shades of black and white. Compared to the boys, they had slightly more options, consisting of long pants, shorts, and a shirt. Kay felt that her classes were quite unorganized with the way their subjects were taught, usually being based around her teacher's preference for which subject they would want to start with that day. Students were expected to present themselves respectfully by waiting outside their classroom before being addressed by the teacher and brought inside to their organized desks. Understanding the state of education at the time, Kay was quite open about the population's unknowingness towards students with intellectual disabilities. As stated by her, everybody was the same. There was no different teaching to anyone. We didn't notice anyone that was different. We didn't know much about being on the spectrum, and there probably were people there. Once asked about the presence of discipline within the classroom, Kay had a very mixed response to the question, becoming quite unsure of what happened due to the girls never facing much discipline. However, she was able to form, to the best of her abilities, an idea of what the boys would often face.
Just don't stop. You know, sir, I'm trying to get loud.
The boys in the primary school got hit. They got caned. I thought it was normal. We thought that if you misbehaved, then that's what would happen.
Advancing 3 decades into the 1980s, Angela's experience was quite like that of Kay's, but also held its own simple advancements from the 1950s. Attending a school that split its cohort into different sections based on their year group, the educators possessed a very similar approach in the ways that they formed their processes. Students were expected to dress in almost the same way that Kay's school did, this being a strict dress code consisting of a dress for girls and a shirt and pants/shorts for boys. They were provided with a virtually unchanged method of teaching that practiced collective teaching rather than individualistic styles of education. Talking about the negative aspects of her education, she had this to say: it was definitely stricter. There were very little opportunity to speak in the classroom. You would only speak if the teacher asked you to. Students would be expected to display their writing materials and books on their tables in a certain position to indirectly communicate to the teacher that they were ready to learn. She also added that she would often be berated by both students and teachers for her parents' inability to pay for her school. During winter, when she would wear her sweater that was knitted with patches of bright green and red, she would opt to not wear the jumper and be cold, then face the abuse.
Making his way through school during the rapid introduction of technology such as iPads and smartboards, Lachlan wasn't as fazed by the shift in teaching since he was quite young and knew no different. Reflecting on the relationships between students and teachers, there was a clear presence of compassion, which then resulted in troubled students finding it easier to ask for assistance.
Concluding our video, it is quite clear that there are several similarities to the stories of Kay, Angela, and Lachlan. The main similarity being the emotional ties to their experiences, whether they were good or bad. It offers a deep insight into the fact that children are directly impacted by the actions of a teacher, possibly creating continued discouragement beyond school. It's a sentiment that we were already quite aware of, but we'll continue to reiterate to ourselves through our approach to learn. One of the biggest differences from the interview data was the lack of technology within the experiences of Kay and Angela, with Lachlan eliciting a response that proved he was quite responsive to the materials. While the implementation of ICT within a classroom has proven to be quite beneficial to the transformative results of students who use them, it's also been shown that technologies aren't being used to their full potential and are associated with teaching styles that are quite conventional once compared to their capabilities. Looking at these studies, we believe that advancements in this area will be the next steps taken in the upcoming years.